right, good morning, good afternoon, guys. I'm so sorry after all my faffing around, thanks to the horrors of hay fever this morning. Once again, I'm just the worst timekeeper in the world, apparently. I spent 40 minutes battling with my internet and my settings for live, which is unbelievably frustrating after over 3 months of doing these sessions week in, week out, multiple times a week. I just am really struggling still with the technology. The internet is so terrible in this part of Cornwall, and it just is a nightmare. So I'm really sorry. I totally plan to try and commit to 12 o'clock every day, but I feel like I need to leave like an hour before a 10-minute session just to get the internet working, which is beginning to drive me out of my mind. So this session was going to be all about Mars and Aries. I feel like it should be about Mercury retrograde because that's the energy that I'm feeling now. It hasn't been the energy I've been feeling all weekend, so I am going to attempt to talk to you a little bit about the plan, what I was planning to share, which is a little bit about the fact that Mars has moved into the sign of Aries on Saturday the 27th. And Mars rules Aries, so it's a really happy mix. It's a happy kind of meeting, happy hangout. And the energy is completely shifting because the last couple of months we've been mired in this retrograde-y, backwards kind of energy, which isn't necessarily bad. It's just reflective. It's an opportunity to look through a different lens at where we've been and what we can learn from that. But it has been quite static, and that's been really consistent with what's been going on for us all in terms of lockdown, in terms of potentially being furloughed or having quite a different life experience to the one that we've chosen and the one we're used to. That's all just coming to a halt. We had Mercury go retrograde quite recently, which, as you can see from my relentless tardiness, is causing lots of significant problems. But that retrograde energy is on the slide. We've got this Mars-Aries conjunction now, Mars-Aries movement rather, not conjunction. And that's changing everything to be a lot more forward, progressive, active, courageous. Mars, you probably all are aware in some kind of peripheral way, is a warrior god. He is a god very much about action, about energy, about leadership, courage, independence, and it's a fire sign. As Aries is a fire sign, Mars brings the fire, and that's really the energy that is coming through from this weekend. And I've been feeling this all weekend. Since Saturday morning I woke up like fired up, making my list. Suddenly all the stuff that's been stuck and blocked began to kind of disintegrate, and new stuff rising from the ashes. Very scorpionic, very me, and that's really exciting because it's all felt stuck for so long, and this is an energy that I think we're all going to enjoy harnessing for the next few weeks. So first thing to do this week is think about what was on your list. What do you want to do? What's motivating you? What would you like to achieve in the next month or two? So Mars is going to be in Aries for longer than usual. Normally planetary transits aren't that long, and this is going to be quite long because Mars actually has a retrograde, as everything does this year, in the middle of his transit. We have about 6 months of Mars and Aries energy, which is awesome. But the most powerful, potent time is going to be right now, the first month of this particular phase, because Mars is really strong. He's at his highest power. There's no retrograde energy in his kind of environment, in his orbit right now. So we're in a good place for forward action, and this is all about leadership, about independence, about finding your power, standing in your power, sourcing your courage and setting it on fire, getting it out there, which is really exciting because it does feel like it's been very static and quite airy and restless and difficult to pin down, and quite flat energy for quite a while, even though we've had such a lot of unrest globally, for all kinds of different reasons and motivated by all sorts of different concepts. The energy has still felt like it's somehow being rained back to me. I don't know if you guys have felt that, but I've really felt this sort of hold and just sort of chomping at the bit and not being free to move forward. So I think this Mars Aries movement this weekend is super exciting because finally we're set free to fire. So maybe start this week by making your list. What are your goals for the week, the month, the year, your short, medium and long-term goals? What do you want to get done right now, and how are you going to start doing that? And that is something that the energy right now is going to be really conducive to. Sorry for once again talking between two cameras. In all my setting up drama, I was trying really hard to get this streaming to Facebook and YouTube simultaneously, but my internet connection would not allow me to do it. So I'm on my phone for Facebook today, and through my webcam for YouTube. So it's going to be a little bit blippy with the cameras. Hopefully I will eventually get good enough internet that I don't have to do this with 2 cameras, but today is not the day. So how do we harness Mars energy as he moves through Aries and really kind of powers up our plans and our ambitions and our ideas and our dreams and visions? So one of the ways I'm doing that is working a lot with my crystals, as always. And actually I'm finding myself looking quite ahead to a lot of the crystals I have lined up for Leo season. So in putting together the rock and ritual boxes for Leo, I'm already kind of building those at the moment. And a lot of the stuff that I'm thinking for those is what's really going to be important right now, because we're working with this quite fiery, powerful leadership energy. So one of the rocks I've been using a lot in the last few weeks, if you follow my broadcast, you'll have heard me talk a lot about citrine. Citrine is the stone of abundance. It is the stone that harnesses the power of the sun. It's incredibly powerful. It never needs cleansing. This is just a little raw one, which I really love. It's gorgeous. And citrine is a really awesome stone to work with when you're looking to really step into your power and to kind of turn on your own inner light and your inner leadership skills. So citrine has been, it's the stone that's probably the most relevant for solstice season. She's been at the centre of my grid since the new moon in Cancer, and will continue to be an important one. Another important one is carnelian, this little red tumbler of goodness. And carnelian, again, is a stone that it can be a Cancerian stone. It really is more Leo, and it's something I have got lined up for the Leo boxes. Carnelian is very much kind of strong root energy, as the reddy orangey stones tend to be. So it's kind of using this fire to ground you, to kind of create strength, to harness strength. Carnelian is a very protective stone, actually, and it's one that, while the energy is quite fluid and powerful, is a good one to keep by you. Something else I'm working with a lot right now is pyrite, and it's really hard to show you this without the right lights in here. It's called fool's gold commonly, and it's kind of magical. I mean, it's just this really kind of proper flaky gold goodness. And pyrite is very much about harnessing strength and courage. It was used protectively in Egyptian times, and it's a real kind of amulet for inner strength. So something I'm definitely doing a lot with. Again, it's going to be very big in Leo. It's one of the main rocks and crystals we work with for Leo seasons. And we have got this kind of weird extended kind of period of hinterland between different energies right now, because you may be aware that we have 2 new moons in Cancer this year, which is pretty weird. Every year we obviously have 13 moons. There are 13 lunar months, but due to the Gregorian mucking around with the calendar, we only have 12 calendar months. So every year there is 1 month where we get 2 new moons in the same sign, and this year it's Cancer, where we are right now. So we had the Cancer new moon back on June 21st. We're going to have another Cancer new moon on July the 20th. So it kind of extends this Cancerian energy, which is somewhere between the kind of, strength and resilience of the crab, and then this kind of inner sensitive, watery, emotional, soft side, which is what we tend to associate with the Moonchild, with Cancer. So that's going to go on a little bit longer than usual, and then tied into that we've got the tail end of the solstice sun energy, and then this Mars Aries fire going into the Leo fire, which is the big kind of proud, resilient, ambitious, independent vibe of the year. So hopefully all of that makes some sort of sense, that we're kind of in a bit of a transition, but the fire is rising. Now's a great time under the Mars energy to be moving forward with your projects and plans, and wearing a lot of carnelian if you have any. So what does this mean for you? Do you have a think about what you are hoping to get from this second part of the year? The first half has been so crazy, chaotic and weird for all of us, and there's definitely a sense of turning points, of halfways. I'm finding this kind of elongated period between the Cancer and Leo season quite an interesting time to kind of to pause, to take stock, to really put some energy and consideration behind my plans for the rest of the year. It's been kind of survival mode the last few months, and now we can actually start to move again. So I'd encourage you to see your plans in that same sort of light and see how that feels as you move forward. What does this mean for me? Well, I've got some really exciting stuff coming up, and I'm going to share this properly in the next couple of days, because this really does need a video that is functioning fully. So I will be organising yet another internet portal. I already have 2 different internet connections into my house, but I think I need a third, clearly, in order to share this with you in full. But as we move out of lockdown, what I do want to do is get back in the real world a bit. Although it's amazing to connect with so many of you online, as today is really endemic of, it's really difficult when the technology is not on board, and unfortunately living in a rural area does make it really hard. So we have some amazing summer pop-ups lined up. That's going to be here in Cornwall on the north coast, and it's going to be a whole month of sound teepee at this incredible venue, out in the wild on the cliffs up near Crackington Haven. And there's going to be a lot more about this week. It's a residential venue if you want it to be. You can camp, you can stay in cabins, or if you're local you can just come by for the day. Come and get your sound healing, your tuning forks. You can have crystal reiki, you can have all sorts of other cool stuff. So this is going to be coming up in the next few weeks for launch, and I am going to be crowdfunding around this project because it feels like the right time after a lot of delay. So I will be sharing a lot more detail about how you can get involved, how you can access sessions online at the TP for a heavy discount if you get involved with the crowdfund. So please do stay tuned. I promise to figure out my camera and my internet as much as I can so that it will be less disruptive when I'm trying to share the very important details of this very exciting project with you. But that's how I'm working with this energy right now, taking this Mars energy by the kind of scruff of the neck and deciding to move forward, because we've all been stuck for a pretty long time, and I don't know about you guys, but I've definitely had enough. So with that in mind, I'm just going to pop out a couple of moments of gong for you. I have no idea what's happening with the microphones, not going to lie. I really don't know what's plugged into what at this point. So it may sound really rubbish, it may sound awesome, but I hope that either way you have a gorgeous Monday and that you take some time to connect with your independence, your leadership and your power, and stand in your own power as we pick up a new kind of vibration for the month. So a little bit of sound for you. I'm actually going to stay seated today just because it's a little bit easier on my knee, and hopefully you guys can still see and hear a little bit. thank you for stopping by. Hey Jackie, thank you for popping in again. I'll let you know more about this soon. Do stay tuned this week. I'm really, despite this such frustration at just not being able to go online at the times I'm planning to, I am determined to sort some better solutions so that we can find a way of connecting on a regular basis, and moving forward through this really fiery, kind of exciting season of positive action. It feels like the best time to make that happen. So thank you for coming by today. Thank you for your attention. And please stay tuned this week for news about Crowdfunder, the summer pop-ups, the Wellbeing Teepee, and all the cool stuff that's going to be happening as we start to find some new ways of being. Have a great day, everyone.